It's you just corrected the quiz with the answer key. I'll go over the questions that I want you to concentrate on and maybe forgot. But we'll do that tomorrow. Next for our end of our unit is I almost said, oh, I'm getting old. I almost said what I was gonna. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune, doesn't matter who goes first. In fact, going first is probably not a good thing. Go on.
A.
A. Okay, words. 2 words. Alright, go on. August, you guess it.
I.
Nope, you gotta guess another letter. You gotta guess 2 words. Come on. Anna.
I.
I. Set.
Rational.
Good try. Next. E. Good try. Easy doing. C. Yes. Next. R. That's it. Yes, a letter. Sorry? T. That's it. Nope. That's right. D. Nope. F.
Rational Exponents.
That's the one. Ding, 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 ding. And you can win a chocolate bar, piece of paper, or you can have real candy. Because I can now hand out candy. What would you like? See, it's not a chocolate bar, it's just a Word. Okay. Right on. And I'll get you to grab one from my desk. Good job. So fractional exponents. Ding, 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 ding. King size chocolate bar is the winner. That's what we're going to do now. And let's start writing down. I think we're just gonna leave the textbook. Okay, you can use your textbook for homework. But right now, you got the sheet, and it stars the formula for you. The x to the 1 over n. I wonder if I how I get to help squeeze it in. X to the 1 over n is the nth root of x. So, just give me the answer. What do you think 25 to the 1/2 is? Give me the answer. No calculator. Anybody? Yep. Good try. Not adding though. Multiplying. No one has a guess? What do you think this equals? Or this? That's probably the easiest one. What do you think 49 to the 1/2 equals? 7. Good job. Exponent of 1/2 means square root, square root, square root. What do you think 8 to the 1/3 equals? 2. Fractional exponent 1/3 means cubic root. So that's what we're doing now. Half, exponent of 1/2 means square root. Exponent of 1/3 means cubic roots. We've already done square roots and cubic roots for days now. All right, let's erase that and get to the notes and the handouts, then you need to go ahead and get a separate piece of paper out or a notebook, because we'll be writing down questions and you don't have enough room in your handouts. So if you look at it, it says page 223, it says 5 to the 1/2 is the same thing as the square root of 5. 5 to the 1/8 is the same thing as the 8th root. Okay, something to the 1/5 is 5th root, and so on and so on. So go ahead, let's do one of these one at a time. Go ahead and do 5a, 36 to the 1/3. Rewrite it as a root. So rewrite is the instructions in number 5. Rewrite in exponential form or rewrite as a power. It means the same thing. So rewrite with exponential form means your answer has to have an exponent on it. Rewrite as a power means your answer has to have an exponent on it, because powers mean base and exponent. It's the same question. Okay, there's 30 seconds for that. What root is this? Everybody? Cubic root. 36. Next, go ahead and do 5b. Don't just write down the answers, write down the questions and the answers so you can study. Test is on Thursday. That's where you get your highest mark of the year. Right on. Sweet. Celebrate the weekend. I'm going to give you a nice test mark on Friday. Unit test. Big one. Math help today. You need to make up marks or get ready for the test on Thursday. Unfortunately, math help for you will be already, your test will be gone already. You ready before math help, so you want your only math help to help you on this test is today. So make sure you come. Okay, this one, exponent 1/2 means square root of 48. Go ahead and do this one. Negative 30 all to the 1/5. Just try it. Figure out what you should do with that negative sign. It's in brackets. I'll tell you what to do. That means that negative sign goes under the radical. If it was a negative sign just out in front, you would just leave it out in front. Like I've said many times, this one is the 5th root of negative 30. Okay, example 1 on page 224. Oh, let me get there. It says evaluate. Awesome. This one says evaluate. (27 to the 1/3). Okay, this is where I need you to close your books, because they just give you the answers and that's useless. So I want your textbooks closed. You don't handouts. I'm not talking about just your textbooks. So close your textbooks. Let me just do this and save this version of it. Although if I minimize that, can I move it? Oh, nice. Save. Thank you. Move it back. Okay, so let's go to, this is kind of what I'm going to ask you is to rewrite and evaluate. Sometimes I'll just say evaluate, but it's helpful to rewrite first so you don't make any silly mistakes. So rewrite and evaluate. Move it, move it. Move it, move it. Okay, so 27 to the 1/3. It's the same thing as the cubic root of 27. That's your half mark showing the work, because it says rewrite. And then you have to tell me what number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 27. Everybody? Is it 3 or is it positive negative 3? or is it 9, or is it positive negative 9? It's 3. Remember, cubics are positive or negative. Some of you put positive negative on the quiz and lost half your marks because you gave me 2 answers. There's only 1 answer for cubic roots. Okay, this one we saw when we were studying for the big quiz. Decimal, so square root of a decimal, square root of decimal 49. Is that decimal 7 or decimal 07? Good job. 1 decimal times 1 decimal equals 2 decimals. You have to know that exponent of 1/3 means cubic root, exponent of 1/2 means square root. So this one, I just said it, is cubic root of negative 64. We haven't seen a lot of these, but we've seen a handful for sure. If you have a cubic root of a negative, the answer is negative. So what's the answer here? Negative 4 is correct. And lastly, we got 4/9 to the exponent of 1/2. Oh, I don't like that chicken scratch showing up. So this is the same thing. You don't need to write this step, but I'm just showing you. That just means the exponent applies to both the numerator and the denominator, which means the square root of 4 divided by the square root of 9, and I'll give you 10 seconds to finish it before I do. And the answer is the fraction 2/3. Any questions on those guys? Or are you going to do ones just like it? You good? You know what exponent means what root? Okay, so go ahead and do these ones. Oops. Come on. Do it. This is the same questions in your textbook. You can see that I got the page number here and CYU. You got a whole bunch of check your understandings all over your textbook. That just means extra questions, but the problem with them is they give you the answers, so it's kind of useless if you look at your textbook right now. So these are questions without the answers. Go ahead and do them on the smartboard here. Go ahead and write them down and rewrite as a radical and then evaluate, please. And write down the instructions. Rewrite as a radical and then evaluate. And you can write down please too. Applause! Awesome. All right, 1,000 to the 1/3. What root is that, everyone? What root? John? Cubic root of 1,000, one number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 1,000. 10. Positive, negative? No, just 10. For cubic roots. This is a square root of 0.5. As discussed, that equals 1 decimal times 1 decimal gives you 2 decimals. We have another cubic root of a negative. What's the cubic root of negative 8, everyone? Negative 2. Perfect. And then this one, fourth root. So you get the fourth root of 16 divided by the fourth root of 81. It's been a while since we've seen these. What's the fourth root of 16? 2. Fourth root of 81. Okay. If you know 4 times 4 equals 16, you know that 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 16. That's 4 times 4 right there. Similarly with 81, if you know 9 times 9 equals 81, you know that 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 equals 81. That's going to help you memorize those and understand them quickly. Good. Okay, now, any questions on this? You can take 5 minutes to work on your homework. Which I'll try to move. Anyone still writing this? I'll move right to the top. So get your textbook, 3, 4, AB, and 6. If you don't have your textbook, you can come here and take a picture. of that page and do the questions and bring your textbook tomorrow, please. All right, next heading. That homework is due tomorrow. You got something like this. Again, if you're in university, your professor is just going to give you this, and you got to figure out how to do it. And to do that, you just put numbers in there. Okay, you put a 3 and a 2 there, and then where the n is, you put a 2 there, and then you put a 3 where the m goes, and that makes it so much clearer than trying to understand that mumbo jumbo. What you need to know is that, go ahead and write it down, is when I give you a fractional exponent, instead of 1/3 or 1/2, but it might be 2/3 or 5/4, you need to know which one is the root. The denominator is the one that is the root. Okay, so if you see 3/2, that's square root. If you see 4/5, you have to know that's 5th root and not 6th root. Sorry, 5th root, not 4th root. If it's 8/7, what root is that? The denominator. That's 7th root. Okay, so you're always staring at the denominator for the root or the index of the radical. So write that down. Denominator is the root. You can also put as the index when you rewrite it. Yes, sir. You may. Okay, so write the blue stuff down. And let's talk about 2 different ways to write it. I'm going to use one way 99% of the time because it's easier and you deal with smaller numbers. Okay, so page 225 in your textbook. Example 2a says 40 to the 2/3. You have to know whether that's square root or cubic root. You can't tell because you can't take the square root or the cubic root of 40, so you can't guess on this one. You just have to know whether it's a square root or a cubic root. And it is the denominator that tells you what root. That's cubic root. So there's 2 ways to write it. Cubic root of 40, and then you put the square, the numerator, outside the bracket, or you can put the square inside the bracket beside the 40. We're going to do it the first way most times, but write both, just in case you see the other way. If it's written the other way, you can move this to outside the bracket. Why? Well, if you do it this way, you're going to deal with 1,600 as opposed to the number 40. Okay, so I would rather have you deal with the small radicals as opposed to the big ones. It doesn't make any sense to deal with giant numbers when you don't have to. Okay, so 2 ways of doing that. This is the way I'm going to prefer and write all the time. It's going to help you as well. Exponential form. Rewrite it in exponential form. Well, this also means as a power. That's what exponential form means. It has an exponent in it. Powers have exponents and bases. So we have to understand whether this is 3 to the 2/5 or 3 to the 5/2. Remember the index on square roots? You don't see one? There's an imaginary 2 there. Even though that looks like an 8. There's an imaginary 2 there. So according to the formula, x of m over n, is this root the denominator or the numerator? That's the denominator, okay? So this is not 3 to the 2/5, as you kind of read it left to right. It's the opposite, 3 to the 5/2, which means square root. Go ahead and try to do this one. Is that 25 to the 3/2 or 2/3? You can't guess. You'll get half of them right. That's not good enough. Know that the denominator is the root or the index. That's calculator. So this is 25. What do you think? 3/2 or 2/3? 2/3. Good job. Yeah. So the root or the index is the denominator. Every time you see a fractional exponent, you look at the denominator. That's the root. All right, I think it's your turn to do exactly what we did again. For check your understanding. And give you this. Refer to your notes if you need to. Go ahead and do this one, write in 2 different ways. And write down the exponential form of those 2. All right, just polish these off. Is this square root or fifth root? Don't guess. Everybody? Everybody. Square root or fifth root? Square root? Fifth root? Fifth root is a denominator. Yep, fifth root is 26. And you can write it in bracket and then keep the numerator outside the brackets. Or you can write the numerator right beside the 26 and make it 26 squared. Same thing, bigger numbers here, use this one. Is this 6 to the 2/5 or 5/2? Somebody? Over there? 5/2, good job. And is this one 19 to 4/3 or 3/4? Somebody over here. I'm being stubborn. 3/4, good job. I'm agreeing, I'm stubborn. Oh, we're here till Tuesday. Oh, it is Tuesday. Oh. All right, let's move on. Any questions? You're good? You're good? We're good. Oops.
Is this going to be a radicals quiz?
The test is on Thursday. You betcha. This is on the test. Oops. This is part rational exponents, is part of radical units. Yep. Okay, number 10. We're rewriting these. And it looks like you have the ability to do that. So go ahead and do A and B and try green D. This is decimal 75 to the exponent decimal 75. Sweet. Write those down quick. That's embarrassing. Okay, now that we got off pause, I'll say that again. So this is a cubic root of 48, all squared. And I think this one just says rewrite it. So you just have to do it one way. You don't have to do it both ways. Do it that way, the best way. And this is the cubic root. I'm looking right at the denominator here. Cubic root of 1.8, all to the 5th power. Check, check. Two thumbs, thank you. And this one, oh, I love the green. Study start, already have study started. And write down this note. Where can I fit it? Write down this note. You can just fit it anywhere, but I think I have to do it here. Sorry, first of all, before I write a note, does anybody know how to do this one?
You can say the numbers.
Yeah, it's 0.75 to the exponent 0.75. Anybody have an idea, Jade?
I got 3 over 4.
Very good. Okay, so exactly what you have to do when you have a decimal exponent, you turn it into a fraction. Awesome job. People with their hands up. So let's write that down. If you have a decimal exponent, well, we haven't been talking ever about decimal exponents, but we've talked about fractional exponents. So you convert it into a fraction. Convert it into a fraction, and then you know your denominator is the root. Okay, anytime you see a decimal exponent, you convert it into a fraction. So now, I'll let you guys finish it. Go ahead and rewrite that as a fraction, sorry, a radical. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, sank, that, 8, done. And you get the fourth root, not the cubic root. 0.5, all cubed. Everyone say the fourth root of 0.75, all cubed. The fourth, just like erase, the fourth root of 0.75, all cubed. All means brackets. Good job, might as well talk like a professional math student as well. Okay, 7 in red. These are the questions I'm going to ask you the most. Rewrite and evaluate. Two things to do. You have to rewrite it as a radical and then tell me what it equals. Remember, evaluate means find the value of. So I'm going to do the first one with you, and you're going to do the next two. 8 to the 2/3 is the cubic root of 8, all squared. Now I'm running out of room, although I can move it up, I guess. Now the cubic root of 8 equals 2. So cubic root of 8 squared is 2 squared. And what does that equal? 4. Okay, you have to show me all that work so I can give you all your marks. Go ahead and do the next two, please. Okay, these are very similar. They simplify instead of 2 squared, 2 to the 4th, 2 to the 5th. And that's how they're related. So cubic root of 8 all to the 4th is equal to 2 to the 4th. What's 2 times itself 4 times? Thank you. And this is cubic root of 8 all to the 5th. Another way of saying 2 to the 5th. And what's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2? 32. Ding, 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 ding. Any questions on those guys? Okay, good question. These will be on your radical test on Thursday. This is still part of the radical unit. You now have to choose what you want to be. Avengers, but you don't just choose Avengers. You got to be an Avenger. This is your choice, tough choice. Or you can be a character from Harry Potter. Or you can be a character from Star Wars. I'm Ray. And make your choice. You can re-choose later. But if you did that, let's do these group questions. Oh, careful. Right here, GBB. So if you are, it goes in alphabetical order. If you're Avenger, go ahead and do the green one. If you're at Hogwarts, Witchcraft School of Wizardry, did I say that? I missed word? Is that what it is? I think that is the word. Maybe I missed a couple. Magical? Isn't there a magic? Magical? I don't know. So that's black and blue. You're in a galaxy far, far away. Go ahead and work on those. And let me say that again. So you did the green, cubic root of 4, all squared. Old guys don't rule. This is 5th root of -10, all on the radical sign, all cubed. And the blue is square root of 2.3. You can write the 2 if you want to, all cubed. Now, if you want to be the same character, go ahead. If you want to change characters, you can do that too. Green, black, blue. And these are decimal exponents, so remember that note we wrote? And think of Jade. Jade will help you. Jade has the force. Go, Jade, go. These questions are awesome. I already said you might want to write them all down, notwithstanding your character. Oh, pardon me. I'm glad I remember this because we talked about decimal exponents, but what if you don't know what fraction 1.5 is or decimal 8? Do you have anything on your calculator that's going to help you? Yes. So you go to your calculator. That's the one Jade did. We have one exponent, 1.5. So you press 1.5 without you marking your hand. 1.5. Clear. 1.5. Math fraction equals. How many show today? And you get 3 halves. Okay, hopefully you know 1.5 means 3 halves. If you don't, punch it in your calculator. So write down, just in case you do get stuck on a decimal calculator, math fraction, so you know you have that option. And this is the square root of 16, all cubed, which means 4 all cubed, which is 64. Woo! Next. This is Jade's fraction. 3/4. So it equals the 4th root of 81. What's 4th root of 81, everybody? Good. What's 3 cubed, everybody? Dougie Hamilton. Used to be a good guy. No, he's okay. At least he's not in our division. I like this one. Decimal 8 is what fraction? Math. Decimal 8, math fraction, if you want it. Who knew without using the calculator? Anybody? What'd you get?
3/4.
Close. What's this one? I think you're looking at the wrong question. 8/10. You could actually do it in your head.
4/5.
4/5. Good job. So 4/5, and then you got to know what root that is. So this is 5th root of -32. That's impossible, so you give up at this point and just scream. Or, what number multiplied by itself 5 times equals -32? Everybody? I heard a whisper. -2. Write down brackets. Write this one down, please. I'm going to get everyone to write this one down. And is the answer 16 or -16? Or 16? Or -16? Or 16? Somebody? Good job. 4 negative signs, make a positive. Oops. Not sure what happened there, but there we go. So write that down. Stop. I like them all. And homework right here, 11, DE, and 12. There's going to be some decimal exponents in there. You can actually take 3 minutes if you want to crush out the 11s anyway. That'll take you about 1 minute. So you just have to rewrite them. God bless us today.